And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Ooh, welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone and Sean Anderson, 2 former college football players from the University of Rhode Island. I got to stop saying that. I don't know why I keep saying that, because we're so far removed from playing college football that it almost doesn't even matter. We're just 2 fat idiots sitting here yelling at each other, farting up a storm every time we do a show.
You're Joey College, man. You like getting in the mix. You like hanging out with the college kids.
Okay,
you like having a good time.
all right,
Mr. University.
All right.
Big man on campus.
We're
Don't
here.
get a young kid from you, all
We're
right.
here to screw you. We're here to talk about NFL Week 5. There's a lot that happened. There's no more undefeated teams, which is the craziest part about this. I would not have guessed going into this week that the Eagles would have lost to the Broncos and the Bills would have lost to the Patriots. But here we are. Both those teams get knocked off. We're going to get to all of that today, but I want to remind everybody that today's episode is presented to you by FanDuel. If you're going to be betting on Monday Night Football, make sure you go on over to FanDuel. I have a bet out for the Chiefs to cover. I think I got it at -3.5 was what I got it at. I have been doing so well on my bets this week for the NFL. 2-0 on the other bets that I placed.
I'm so happy for you.
Took the Cowboys, and I'm forgetting. Oh, I took the Lions as well. Those were both way too easy. We're not here to talk about my bets though.
Thank God.
Screw you.
I'm on the other side of things where I'm like,
yours was bad. You had a bad
you
weekend on FanDuel.
See cartoons of people that are like in the Great Depression eating shoes, and you're like, how could it get that bad for somebody where they're eating the leather from their shoes? I'm almost there.
You're trending towards that.
Except now in this country, we don't make stuff with leather anymore. It's just the plastic and toxic. So I couldn't even eat my shoes if I wanted to. What is this suck-ass week of NFL betting?
It was a suck-ass week for Miami Dolphins and New York Giants fans. Last week, at the end of the week, we did a segment talking about, Sean, which team was in more trouble with their giant big issues with losing their star receivers, Tyreek Hill, Malik Neighbors going down with ACL injuries. Well, both these teams are now 1-4, losing inexplicably to teams that they should have beaten. The Dolphins fell to the Panthers after they gave up a 17-0 lead to lose 27-24. And the Giants, and of course, had a million turnovers and played like absolute ass against one of the worst teams in the NFL in the New Orleans Saints. We now get to ask ourselves, which head coach is going to get fired first? Which one do we think is going to get canned first? Because there is nobody else that is this awful as these 2 individuals at trying to fix their teams.
It's Mike McDaniel gets fired first before Brian Daboll. We're just a week removed from the happy couple of Daboll and Jackson Dart. Starting their new relationship throughout the season. They'll let it run the full year. Mm-hmm. Why not? It's a rookie quarterback. You got a rookie running back. There's reasons to keep this Giants team as close together as possible, just so you know exactly what you're working with. The Dolphins are bombed out. The Dolphins are destroyed. Down. Their wide receiver 1 is gone. Defense is still getting torched. They let up 200+ scrimmage yards to Rico Dowdle.
Hey, you respect Rico.
You say that aloud yourself and let me know if that's a defense that's properly coached in the NFL. Rico Dowdle, 200 yards from scrimmage.
How does it even happen?
It doesn't seem possible. Mike McDaniel's pants continue to get higher and the cuffs continue to rise.
I did see somebody point out a leader of men can't be wearing capri joggers like that and no-show socks. I kind of agree with that. That's a problem.
He does it. Well, thanks for finally getting on board for what I've been saying for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. It makes more sense when they're losing in such terrible fashion again. The Panthers aren't good. This isn't a press conference you can walk into and just, quirkily rub my head and say, we just didn't have it and the Panthers are good and they pushed us closer to wanting death. You can't do that bit today. You just got beat by the Panthers in terrible, embarrassing fashion. I know how that feels. I know what it looks like. It's cause for implosion. And the Dolphins are that. They are one of the worst teams in the NFL that shouldn't be considered in that category, but they are just from ineptitude. Tua's bad. The running back room, not good. A-Chain and Tua and Waddle should work. But you know who's getting all the targets? Darren Waller.
Hey, man, they got to do what they can.
No, they don't need to do what they can. Mike McDaniel was pitched to us as the football community and observance of NFL football as an offensive savant. That's what he was pitched to us as. And now you're losing to the Panthers, and all you can dial up is Darren Waller plays. 2 years since he's been in the NFL. Give me a break. The guy's lost his touch. He's punched out. He's gone.
Okay, so I get where you're coming from, but as the depressed Giants fan, I disagree. Both these losses are extremely embarrassing, but where I think that the Giants are in even worse territory is that they couldn't muster a win against a Saints team that was unproductive on offense.
Correct.
Have really no quality targets at receiver outside of Olave, who was not playing very well. They had an underrated offensive line so far this year, and their secondary was pretty shit coming into this game. Without Malik Neighbors, it became really clear that they don't have any good receivers. So they had to turn to Bellinger and Theo Johnson, which looked good. But then all of a sudden, this is where I'm like completely checked out. I thought for a second to what you wrote in the doc where maybe Daboll gets until the end of the season because he starts to stack a couple of good performances, maybe wins 6 games.
Yeah.
And Dart has 1 or 2 really nice passing days where he goes over 250, 270, 3 touchdowns, whatever it is. And he could have at least made his case to Mara and to Tish and say, hey, at least give me a shot. They would have at least allowed for him to put out that on the table. But if they can't beat the Saints, they're not going to do that, especially over the next 3 weeks when they have to play the Eagles twice and the Broncos. The same problems that disappeared, by the way, against the Chargers, where a lot of us started to build hope, came back, and they were worse than usual. 5 turnovers, a bunch of drops, a bunch of missed assignments, a bunch of untimely penalties. It's been all of the same shit. It has been a lack of attention to detail. And for anyone who doesn't understand coaching in the NFL, when your teams do not have a close attention to detail, it is on your head coach. And when that stuff has not been resolved this far into your coaching career, it is on you.
Trickles up, man.
Brian Daboll, or trickles down, if anything. Because
you're saying shit trickles down. I'm saying blame trickles up. I guess shit trickles down.
Yeah,
there's a lot of trickling going here.
The only thing that I will say, and I don't know if I'm off base for saying this, so it was John Mara came out publicly last week saying that he's, I think, taking a bit of a step back from the team because he announced that he's battling cancer. I don't think this like really totally changes things, but I do wonder if what's happening with his personal life and him being such a big decision maker, if maybe they want to be a little bit more patient with this because the Mara family does not want to endure multiple complex, complicated things at the current moment. I don't know if that's just a completely irrational take of the way of looking at it, but regardless, Brian Daboll is done. There is no redeemability left. This team has no offensive juice. They can't do anything.
It was hard to process, and Sunday was so crazy in the NFL. It just was a crazy day. A lot of stuff happening. It was hard to really process and internalize what happened between the Giants and the Saints. It's really a disaster. The Giants are in a bad spot, and the Saints just play grown men football. The Giants looked young. They looked really young.
That's a little generous to say grown man football to describe the Saints, who they got handed a win. They got handed a win. They didn't do anything that was really commanding. They didn't have any. They had the one big play to Shaheed that started to get them back into it. But if it wasn't for the turnovers that they quite literally, the fumble that Dart had was almost handed it off.
Yeah, he placed that one right on the turf.
That one was inexcusable. The turnovers that they had were so untimely, it just made it impossible for the Giants to get back into it. Every single time you felt like, hey, maybe they'll bounce back. No, here's the next turnover.
McKinstry was clamping, and here's what I'll say. If your team loses, yes, he was. Didn't he have 2 picks yesterday?
The first pick, which I give Dart room for error on. He was trying to make a play on 4th and 6, and he just launched it down to like the 5 or the 7 yard
Arm
line.
punt.
Basically, which is why it's not an issue. If you're in 4th and 6, he missed Bo Collins, who was wide open right near the sticks. But if you're trying to make a big play, I'd rather be aggressive than not aggressive. If you check down there, then that would have been actually worse.
Yeah.
The other interception that he threw to him was a total misfire, miscommunication, but it was based on the fact that Bo Collins stopped running and Jackson Dart wasn't paying attention and didn't realize that Collins wasn't where he thought he was.
Seatbelt.
He could not have been handed 2
Clamping.
interceptions better.
Seatbelt.
All right.
Look, if your game is getting decided by a long Rashid Shaheed touchdown, that means you got beasted. The long Rashid Shaheed touchdown should come when it's 30-0 and they get 30-7 on the board. They don't get blanked. That's when that happens when you play the Saints. That's the only outcome that should happen when you play the Saints. Shaheed got in. When did he get in? A minute left in the 4th? What was the score? 30-7?
Why are you
Checks
shitting on,
out.
Why are you shitting on Shaheed?
The Saints suck. I hate the Saints.
Yeah,
I do.
we already-
I hate the Saints. Here's why I'm empathizing, and I'm not trying to be too brutal on you guys. Atlanta still has to play them twice. Atlanta's going to lose to them once. And I, as a grown man, will probably cry this year. It will probably drive me to tears.
I can't wait for the Falcons to lose to them.
That's crazy. I literally just came hat in hand
I don't
admitting
care.
that we're going to split with this awful, awful team. And you're
Spencer Rattler,
Mhm.
400 yards. 400 is going to happen to the Falcons.
Gotcha. Noted.
Well,
Noted.
Okay, so if it at least makes you feel better, we were correct about Geno Smith not being the elevator that everybody thought he was going to be for the Raiders. He is off to a historically bad start for this team, and this might go down as one of the worst quarterback trades in the last 10 years that we have witnessed. This was supposed to be the Pete Carroll, Geno Smith combination. It was supposed to make this team competitive right now so that they could be in the conversation, and then they figure out the quarterback thing a little bit later. Wrong. 40-6 loss to the Colts. He has now had 3 multi-interception games as he had 2 thrown to Indianapolis Colts defenders. He has tossed 9 interceptions. 7 of those have resulted in scoring drives that have set up their opponents for 35 points this year, which is insane that they're handing away points that easily. His 9 interceptions are tied for the second most by a Raiders quarterback through the first 5 games with the franchise since 1970. This all comes off of the 2-year, $75 million extension that they gave him after trading for him, but they could end up eating $18 million in dead cap if they decided to get rid of him with a post-June 1st designation of cutting him. I don't know what's going to happen there, but we're now at this point where it's really clear that the Raiders just need to suck this year and to look ahead to the likes of Dante Moore and Lenora Sellers in the upcoming draft. Before I let you hop in here, I'd be willing to bet that Dante Moore is a Raider by this time next year because Chip Kelly convinced Dante Moore to come play at UCLA. I don't know what their relationship's like, but I would argue that's going to make that real easy.
You'd probably be upset for that 1 year at UCLA. You screwed me, Chip. Why would you let me get on some good solid footing my first year? Hey, where's all the pay Geno people at? Where's all the, Geno deserves all this crazy money? Where's the Geno's top 10 people at? You're quiet now. You battered us over the head with your BS Geno Smith narratives all off season, trying to show that you're smarter. Just the pretentious fake quarterback knowledge that you put on display because Geno Smith had a couple clever tweets after wins last year with Seattle, and that made you think he was a top 10 guy. Geno Smith has always been Geno Smith, and these dummies, Joe, the dummies that think that they're breaking Geno Smith, a 30-plus-year-old Geno Smith for the world.
Wait. Has that been an argument by people that they're the ones like someone? There's some outside undefined or like source that's causing Geno to play bad.
They just jumped on the bandwagon and tried to start selling and repackaging Geno as this veteran dude that's going to get you 10 wins. He's not. He's not going to do that. Credit to Seattle, genuinely. Credit to the Seattle Seahawks for what they did to make Geno Smith look so good in Seattle. Because this is the real Geno at the Raiders, a stripped-down team that needs a leader, and he's throwing pick after pick after pick. The Seahawks are the ultimate winners of this quarterback.
Yeah, which we're gonna talk about them.
It's
in a bit.
It really impressive what they've done with Sam Darnold. They made the right decision moving on from Geno, and they pulled off a robbery heist. They completely owned the Raiders in this. And where do you go with Geno all year? Who are you going to say, all right, step on in. Go ahead, be the quarterback and take us anywhere. No, it's Geno for the next 12 games. Good luck. We could be seeing, do we see another 30-pick season? Is this where we're trending?
I don't think he's going to start in the end of the year. Like, I feel like I'd be completely stunned if he was still starting at the end of the season. He's pacing, obviously, for that to end up happening. Here's one thing, though, that I feel has hurt the Raiders, and this is a bit of an odd take, but I think that it is an applicable one. There are these franchises in the NFL that are constantly trying to stay competitive. And I know that the goal is to never be bad. You should never tank. Tanking is not a real thing in the sport. It's not. But when we're trying this hard to remain relevant by putting duct tape on all their situations, you're going to just keep taking the same mediocre team and making it slightly better until it gets to the point where it's at right now, when it's absolute garbage. So they needed to have not gone after Geno Smith this offseason. They shouldn't have. There were no draft picks that they really could have used on a quarterback where they were picking this year, and they made the right decision taking Ashton Genty, I think.
He's looking good.
But this is where I'm getting. Actually, I would argue keep Geno out there. Keep him out there. Start it. I'm not trying to be mean or negative or anything. He had a great couple of years with the Seahawks. He looked really nice as a starter the past couple of years. I'm not trying to clown on him. But if the Raiders have any aspiration of bouncing back, there should not be any hope or desire to win. It has been something that killed my team for so long as a Giants fan, that we've always thought that we were more ready to compete than we always were.
You got your guy now.
No, I hope so. I hope so. My point, though, is that this lack of understanding of where your franchise actually is at the current moment is what holds back teams. This is going to be a great quarterback draft. And I would argue they should trade up if they're not sitting at first overall. And I would pray that you end up getting the first overall pick, because finding your franchise quarterback is the only way forward.
Yeah. I mean, does Kenny Pickett win more games with the Raiders than Geno does right now?
Are you suggesting
he's their backup?
I actually completely forgot about
there's
that.
There's no like young studly quarterback that you could just say, let it rip, kid. We don't need you to win games. We just want to, if you win a bunch and you become our franchise guy, so be it. If not, whatever. We'll find another guy next. There's no guy. It's Kenny Pickett. That's the next guy that's coming in for the Raiders if Geno continues to stink it up. So they might just keep on losing. And the Raiders, you're looking at a Pro Bowl running back. You're looking at an all-pro tight end. You need a quarterback, and you need more offensive line depth. The wide receiver situation is a bit tragic, but they somehow make it work. They got to get right. I don't know. Maybe you trade Max Crosby in the draft. He's having a good year. He's getting older.
Why would you trade him, though? He's like one of your few good players.
Because he's one of their few good players to actually be able to move up in a good quarterback draft.
I'm not getting rid of a guy that is a franchise cornerstone. Yeah, but why? What?
I don't know who else you'd trade, genuinely, to move up. I guess you just trade
capital.
A bunch of picks.
Yeah, trade capital to move up.
But how much you better hit. How much are you sacrificing there?
The simple talking point here is that if they leave the 2026 NFL draft with potentially, there's going to be like 4 good quarterbacks available. If Dante Moore declares, you're still also going to have Lenore Sellers. You're going to have Fernando Mendoza. You're going to have Ty Simpson. There's some pretty solid options there. Do not leave that draft without getting a quarterback in the first round. Otherwise, you're going to be Garrett Nussmeiering your way to.
What's wrong with the Nuss?
That feels like such a Pete Carroll second round pick, and then convincing yourself that he's the future of the team, or they would be the Drew Aller team to take him in the third round to be the Christian Hackenberg of this franchise of, hey, maybe this guy can do something. And he's going to cut in the preseason in 2 years.
Is Carson Beck going in the first?
I'm worried about the elbow. I mean, he had one ball that was awesome against Florida. Like, it was really good accuracy, but then I kept rewatching it. I was like, oh my God, that's a punt. That thing is like up. It was like the old like 90s sports movie trope where like you look up and the ball's like spinning really slowly. That was what it looked like. So I like Carson Beck.
That's a good comp. I saw
I think it could be like what Mac Jones just was for the 49ers and fill in a little bit for a team.
They might get Mac Jones.
Well, so that was that would be the most Raiders thing possible
God.
is to win a couple of games at the end of the year, to be picking at 6 and then being like, you know what? We're going to go get Mac Jones and we're going to use that pick to trade back.
You know, he's only worked in Shanahan's offense, but you know what? I bet he'll work for ours. I'll bet we'll be the team that breaks the pattern here.
God.
Oh my God, the Raiders. They're just God. And you want the Raiders to be good. The Raiders are one of the like cool franchise. They used to be cool before they got to Vegas. I think they're pretty lame now in Vegas, but still historically one of the cool franchises. Crazy ass owner, best logo, great jerseys. Supposed to be tough, supposed to be strong, play with attitude. They've got a franchise cornerstone running back. Like I've been on the edge waiting for Vegas to become a little bit legitimized, and they keep on dicking around. And they keep on throwing turnovers, and they keep on telling me Geno's good and that he's the best deep ball passer that the NFL's ever seen. I'm sure. Just because he can hit a seam route doesn't mean that he's going to clutch up in the second half and protect the ball. You don't understand quarterbacks. Everybody that showed their ass with Geno Smith dialogue this offseason is completely proven to me they don't know dick about shit.
It's great analysis right there. The Eagles right now, Sean, are struggling. And we talked about it on the Thursday taping that we did, showing a little bit of concern for the way things have been operating in the locker room. A.J. Brown makes the social media post. He later apologized for it, and he doesn't play well against the Broncos, as the Broncos snuck up on the Eagles after they had a pretty strong lead at halftime. A lot of people are questioning, hey, why did he only have 43 yards? Why did Saquon Barkley only have 6 carries? Why does he not have a 100-yard game this season? I think it's justified for asking the question, is there a real problem with this offense? You got no more Kellen Moore. You are starting to show a lot of like really just like over trying with trying to get guys the football, and it's just not looking fluid. And here's what I'm going to say to Eagles fans. You guys get the perfect opportunity here. It's Thursday Night Football against the New York Giants. Are you guys kidding me? You guys ready to throw for 400 yards? You guys excited for that? Seriously, you ready for Jalen Hurts to rush for 210? You ready for Saquon to jump over somebody backwards and then do a somersault and then rush for him to have 250 yards? Are you ready for all that? You ready for A.J. Brown to go for 170? Devonta Smith for 130. Dallas Goedert 3 touchdowns.
Okay, that would be 300 yards and 3 touchdowns between 3 targets.
Yeah. You guys ready for that? I'm so serious. I don't want to hear anyone complaining about the Eagles being in trouble. No.
Did you say Jalen 200 on the ground?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
Somehow.
We're at a plus 500 yards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to happen. You kidding me? Giants on a short week? No. Giants, we're going to get our asses kicked. You kidding? When has the Giants ever put out a good short week game? When?
Oh my God.
When was the last time that happened?
It doesn't happen often.
Was that last year when they played the 49ers and they kind of like hung with them for a quarter and then they got completely decimated?
Look, I think that a defensive line that can out talent. Oh, never mind. Philly's got a good O-line. Never mind.
It's been a little banged up.
Doesn't matter. They're so much better than your defensive line. You got so much talent, but their O-line's just beastly. Denver's beastly. Their defense is Jeez. Their defense is really good. Their Pat Surtain shuts down everyone. This is one where I'm not that worried about A.J. Brown, actually. I know I was on a tirade last week, but the Denver Broncos defense, if you get shut down by them, then you're kind of still legitimized, in my opinion, because they get it done. Hufanga is good. Surtain is good. Nick Bonito is really good. Like, they have so many quality players, but they're tucked away in Denver and they're in the 4:00 slot all the time. So a lot of you guys don't pay attention to them. I get it. They got to trust me. The Philly offense is going to get right. You're right there. They have the awful Giants this Thursday. I saw a one tweet though.
You're going to get baptized, man.
I saw one tweet that kind of sums up the discourse perfectly around Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense. And Connor Livesay tweeted, they let Hurts throw it 40 times for the first time in 5 years and lost. I'm in tears. Like, that's kind of a great summation of what this Eagles offense is. You can't do too much in one way. And if you're going to go too far in one way, it better be for the run. Like that's how it has to be skewed. You want to have a balanced offense. You have a balanced offense by nature at your quarterback, running back, and receiving options. Like they're all good. There's not one where I'd say, oh, you have to lean one way, but you have to lean on the run game. It can't be Jalen Hurts 38 passing attempts, Saquon Barkley 6 rush attempts. Like that's not how you can operate. And if Saquon Barkley's dinged up and he's got a little bit of a knee thing, then get the other running back some work. You're
they brought in AJ Dillon, and you also I don't know what happened with Estime, but they also brought in Tank Bigsby as well. They've been very creative about adding depth at running back. But
11 total carries does not appease the Philadelphia offensive scheme. It will not. It will never work for you guys. You're a better running team. Run the ball.
So they have Will Shipley, but they brought in AJ Dillon, and they also have Tank Bigsby. And I think do they have Audric Estime on the? Yeah, they've got Audric Estime on the practice squad. So they've got talent there that if if something is wrong with Saquon that we're not really being very clear about. They have options, not as good as Saquon, obviously, but if you need to give them a breather, you have people to turn to. We'll see what happens with the Eagles because they're going to bounce back. They're going to be fine. They're one of these teams that I'm not really super panicked by. Quick reminder, everybody, today's episode is presented to you by FanDuel if you're going to be betting on that Thursday night football game. I don't know what the line is right now, but I would bet on the Eagles to cover. I'd gladly bet on the Eagles to cover because I'm pretty sure that they're going to have a pretty easy time against this awful, awful Giants team. We got to talk about a couple more things before we get out of here. Baker Mayfield, I would argue, deserves to lead the MVP conversation to this point. Josh Allen, of course, is going to be in the mix at the top. But, dude, Baker has been the biggest elevator of any team in the NFL the way that he's played. 379 yards, 4 incompletions, while averaging 11.5 yards per attempt. He has been transformative as they've been banged up a little bit at receiver, and Emeka Egbuka has emerged as a huge target. So I'll add one more thing, though, and this is a good juxtaposition for the Geno Smith conversation that we had earlier. Darnold was tremendous as well. The first time in league history that opposing quarterbacks each recorded at least 325 passing yards and completed 80% of their throws, as he had 29 completions on 34 attempts for 341 yards and 4 touchdowns. It was a great duel, but we got to start talking about Baker as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now and a potential MVP winner.
I love Baker Mayfield so much. He has Tampa Bay in literally every game that they play. Tampa is super injured. They're always super injured, but he doesn't care about that. He cares about in between the hashes. That's all I want my quarterback doing. And it doesn't seem like anybody cares more. He is a tremendous competitor, a tremendous quarterback, and he's going to suffer from a bit of DeMar DeRozan disease where he's so good, literally so good, but he just has to deal with LeBron every year, and that's Josh Allen in the MVP race. Or Lamar, it's not going to be Lamar this year, but he's got to get by LeBron. Super, super tough task. The one little pushback I have is the Baker glazing. I was ahead of the curve, so obviously I'm lashing out at all the new people jumping on the bandwagon. Because he's in so many tight games, because Tampa Bay isn't at full strength, it makes his heroics look even more heroic. That's just a little bit of an extra, I guess, entertainment bump that Baker gets to trick the normal people watching, that they're like, oh my God, oh, Baker Mayfield, MVP. I want him to be in the MVP race, but circumstantially, the drama ends up giving him a boost there. If he was winning more definitively, it'd be a different tone of the MVP conversation, but he's still a true candidate. Tampa Bay is getting it done, man. 4-1, 1 loss. They're running away in the NFC South. They are running away with it. It is a really, really good start to the year. And laughing in your face, PFF or fantasy, wherever it came from, talk about the Emeka Egbuka fall off. Like, yo, you should trade him now, and you should trade. No, the guy's not going anywhere. What a stud is he? What a perfect matchup. You could feel it in your gut before the season. I felt it in my gut, my big, massive gut, telling me Baker to Egbuka is going to be an unreal pairing, and it has been. He is a routing. He's a just route god, sure hands, gets open, separation point my ass. The dude gets open. I love this Tampa Bay team. I love Baker Mayfield.
Which is
Everybody
ironic.
should.
hyping up a team that's in the division of the team that you root for.
It's almost like they're not even in the same division. They play so
You're a
well.
bad fan.
They play so well, I can't even consider them competition with Atlanta. Do you think we're chasing them down, honestly?
Well, I would have an aspiration to. I thought that the way that they operated with some of their moves this offseason, that there was a path for – There is a path, not if you lose 30-0 to Carolina. I thought that they both would have been like around the same record, but as we've seen through 5 weeks, there is obviously a separation point at the current moment. It's still young, plucky Atlanta team that's dealing with its youth that's getting in its way.
Atlanta had chances to get ahead of Tampa Bay, but they messed around for so long before Baker actually found his legitimized footing here, like he's doing this year and at the end of last year. Like the first year of Baker, they could have really got past him, but they didn't do it because bad coaching and some poor quarterback play. Atlanta gets Buffalo this week. They're going to be 2-3. Buffalo's going to unload all that Patriots frustration all over Atlanta, and they're going to smoke them, and it's going to be 2-3. Tampa's just going to keep on winning games. It's a great story. Yeah, they're tremendous. Baker is an MVP candidate. I honestly am hoping that this one it snowballs. Normally, I want people to be contained in their MVP dialogue, but we're still pretty early in the season. I hope this one actually gets momentum and we can have serious conversations about Baker Mayfield being one of the league's best quarterbacks, because he's been earning it. Year after year, he has stepped up and earned the recognition that he's now getting. Let it consume you. Don't let a bad Baker game, when it eventually happens, take you away from the point that he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now, which didn't seem possible 5 years ago.
Last game I want to get to before we get out of here. Stephon Diggs has his revenge game on Sunday Night Football against the New England Patriots, 10 receptions for 146 yards. But more importantly, I think that the narrative was built around Stephon Diggs. I think it needs to be more built about this being the true Drake May coming out performance. He had a number of unbelievable throws, just a true gamer, a guy that when everything's breaking down, he's got one good offensive line and the rest of those dudes are kind of cheeks. He's got a slow running back in Ramondre Stevenson. He's got one good receiver in Diggs, and he's still finding ways to make plays, finishing 22 of 30 for 273 yards. Josh Allen's Josh Allen, man, and I'm not saying that Drake May is already on par with him. That's not what I'm at all implying, but you could kind of see some similarities to where when Josh Allen was in year 2 and he was starting to show some signs of dominance and improvement, we're getting those little glimpses from Drake May. There's a reason why people compared Drake May to Josh Allen in their physical skill sets. I think that this is a game that we look back on in 10 weeks, and we're talking about whoa, that was really the time when we started to realize that May was a top 13, top 12, maybe even top 10 quarterback in the NFL, because he's starting to hit his stride.
Yeah. God, they look alike, don't they? They look alike when they are back there in the drop back, and that's a great person to model your game after, Drake May. I hope you continue to do it. I don't understand, and maybe it's just because I'm not that deep into it with the scouting and pre-draft stuff. I never saw Drake May as this project guy, and he kept on being labeled as a project guy.
Which was really dumb to me. I thought he was one of the most ready-to-play guys.
I appreciate you saying that, because everybody thought that he was raw. I'm like, this guy doesn't look like that to me, man. It looks like he's commanding a pretty good offense. I wanted him to start over Brissett. They took their time with him. I guess they let him bake a little bit, and out came a lovely Drake May cake, throwing 22 for 30 for 273 against a great defense. The Patriots, this is what it looked worrisome. One of my preseason takes about the Patriots looked worrisome through the first couple of weeks when they're losing all their games. This is the team that I was talking about when I said that they could be challenging the wild card spot in the AFC. This version of the team, Stephon Diggs locked in, Drake May taking control of the game, doing good Drake May athletic big arm things, eventually getting the run game going. I know Gibson down with the ACL. He's gone for the year. That's a piece that's gotten in the end zone a couple times. They need to get Travion Henderson the GD ball. Ramondre is going to keep putting it on the turf. I know he had 2 touchdowns, but it's there. They got to stop taking goal line touches away from
Travion Henderson. Should never come off the field.
No, he really shouldn't. Yeah. When they were really humming at the end of the half, Travion Henderson was in the backfield, running routes, staying in, doing pass pro, taking handoffs. When they needed the offense to really churn, he was in there. let that carry over. Let that be the guy for the offense because the Patriots could be good. This beating the Bills is a big deal. This was not fluky beat the Bills. This was not fluky Saints beat Giants. Like this was a legitimate primetime win, and Drake May didn't look like he was scared of primetime. And maybe that's because he's got the best security blanket in the league that's protection from a badass head coach, Mike Vrabel, that knows how to get his team right. The Patriots getting right is scary for the league. It will be because there's a lot of teams in the AFC that think they're good and people think they're really good, Chargers, that are actually weak. And the Patriots might be on the inverse of that where people think they're bad, but deep down, they're actually very good. I'd be very worried. This isn't a paper tiger. This is the, what's the stupid Trojan horse. That's what they are. They're the Trojan horse.
Look at you.
I know, two history references. Come on.
Pulling out some real solid metaphors.
Oh.
I don't know if that, no. Are they metaphors? Or are they technically
analogy? References?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Drake May's good. That's the stupid meathead analysis. That dude's good.
He was good, and it wasn't a revenge game, by the way. That was a weird thing.
Yeah, and I think that the divorce between the two is not remembered correctly.
It's obviously a Diggs issue. Like what we've seen from Diggs. And I love Stephon Diggs. It's obviously a Diggs thing.
Kind of is revenge because he did not leave on good terms. So it kind of is I'm getting back at you guys for proving that I'm better than you. I have no idea.
They paid him though. They paid him. He had the most receptions over any receiver over that span when he was in Buffalo. No wide receiver in the NFL caught more passes than Stephon Diggs. I don't know how you could have been more involved, bro. I don't know how they could have respected you more as a player on the team than getting you the ball literally more than anybody else in the league.
And on the Bill side of this, by the way, I don't really have any concern just generally. This was like a perfect trap spot to get caught off guard by a team that you maybe slightly overlooked. And defensively, they fly all over the field. They did a great job of slowing down James Cook, so you had to rely way too much on your passing game. There was plenty to be positive about and excited about, but there's no reason to feel like everything's falling apart. It just does definitely feel weird that we do not have an undefeated team left in the NFL this early in the season. Sean, we're going to close out on that point. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod, 201-834-4308. We will be back later in the week with some midweek check-ins. Enjoy the rest of your week.